Hey guys, this is Smithy. Welcome to my channel. If you guys are new here, welcome. And if you guys have already been subscribed to the channel, thank you so much for subscribing. Today's makeup tutorial is revolving around this palette, and this is Ofra Cosmetics Pro Palette in collaboration with Waheeda Khan. I absolutely love this palette and I wanted to use more on the channel, so hence comes this video. So this is the makeup look that I created using this palette. If you want to see how I achieved this look, then please keep on watching. So let's begin. I'm first going to prime my face, and for that I'm using my Wet n Wild's Dewy Primer. Whenever I'm looking for that glowy kind of a complexion, this is the first thing that pops into my mind, and I really like it. And it gives a very subtle sheen to the face. And it's an excellent option from the drugstore. See, it's like not over the top, but definitely gives a lot more radiance to the skin. Now for foundation, I'm going to take my Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin Full Coverage Foundation. And I most probably would mix up two shades, which is Y225 and Y445. It's definitely a full coverage foundation. I probably don't even need like a concealer. It covered all the redness and the blemishes out of my skin. So that's good. Now, because this is so full coverage, I'm going to go with a lighter medium coverage concealer, I would say. And for today, I'm going to take my Too Faced Born This Way concealer, and I'm in the shade Medium Tan. And I'm going to use the same brush so that everything can smoothly blend with each other. Now I'm going to set my under eyes and my whole face with my NYC Smooth Skin Loose Face Powder. I just hate the packaging because the powder just flies everywhere. But the powder itself is super finely milled and very nice. Now let's move on to our face palette, which is the star of the show today. And I'm talking about the Ofra's Pro Palette in collaboration with Waheeda Khan. Now, again, it comes with a good old mirror as well as so many shades to choose from. And I absolutely love this palette just because there are options for eyeshadows, there is bronzer, there's highlighter, there are blushes. Everything is curated in one palette. So I absolutely love that thing about this. For the bronzer, I'm going to take the shade called Versatile Matte and apply that as my bronzer. And I'm going with a very light hand because the products are extremely pigmented. Because we can build it up, but to blend a highly pigmented thing would be a struggle. Now for the blush, I want to go more on that pale pink kind of a side. So let's start with that. I'm going to take the shade called Pink Satin, which is this light pink in the palette. I actually don't know what am I going to do on my eyes. I have two looks in my mind, but I've still not decided which one to go with. So now for the highlighter. Options are endless in this palette. But for today, I'm going to stick to the top two shades of this highlighter. And this highlighter is called All of the Lights. Ofra highlighters are like impossible to beat for the shine that they give, how smooth they apply on the skin. It's stunning. And then I'm going to do the same thing for my nose too. At the tip of the nose, the bridge of the nose, and on the cupid's bow. Now, once we are finished with the eyes, then we'll do the inner corners. Now, first, I just want to dust the cream matte shade in the palette, and that's called Champagne, all over my eyelid. And then I'm going to take the pink satin blush in the palette, and I'm going to run that in the crease. And I'm going to mix the other blush shade also with it, and which is known as Charm. I'm planning on doing a spotlight eye, so we'll see where it goes. I'm going to do the same thing on my lower lash line too. Now I'm going to take that hot pink shade from the palette. It's known as Pink Lady, and take that on the brush and apply it on my outer and the inner corner of the eye. And I'm going to mimic that same thing on my lower lash line too. So I'm basically leaving the center of the eye bare, and even in the center of the lower lash line bare. Now I'm just going to clean up the center of the eyelid with the same concealer that we used, the Too Faced concealer, and just blend it with those pink shades. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the gold shade from the palette, this one, and I'm going to plop that right in the center of the eyelid where we have concealed it, and then just blend it out with the finger and make it meet to the pink. And then I'm going to take the same outer crease brush and just blend both of the shades together so that there are no harsh lines. I'm going to apply the same gold shade in the middle of my lower lash line too. Now I'm just going to dip into my Pat McGrath Subversive eyeshadow, and I'm going to take this gold shade from the palette just because I want it to have a little more oomph but staying in the same color family. Now I'm going to take a smaller blending brush and I'm going to dip into that shade called Trance, which is the extreme right corner shade. It has a lot of burgundy in it too, and I'm basically just gonna deepen up the outer and the inner corner. And this brush is Morphe M506. I love this brush for that detailing because it's tiny and it does the job pretty well. Now I'm just going to finish off my eyes, and I'll apply some liner and my Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, and I'll get right back. And for my inner liner, I'm going to take my ColourPop's Marigold liner and I'm just going to line my waterline. And then for my inner corners, I'm going to take the shade Sahara Dawn from the palette, the deeper highlighter, and I'm going to pop that on my inner corners. For my lips, I'm going to take my LA Girls Ultimate Intense Auto Liner in the shade Keep It Spicy. For my lipstick, I'm going to take my Pat McGrath's Lavish lipstick. And then to just set my face, I'm going to use my NYX Matte Finish Setting Spray. And that's my final look. Now let's move on to the swatches. I'll swatch according to the category. I think that makes the most sense because it's a face palette and it has like a lot of things. First, I'm going to swatch these two blushes. So this is Charm and this is Pink Satin. So Charm is more of the neutral pink kind of a shade, and Pink Satin is more of that baby pink, cool tone pink shade. I absolutely love both these blushes, and I often mix both these blushes in my tutorials whenever I use it, just because I love the look that it creates when mixing it up together. Now next, let's move on to the bronzers. This is one bronzer here at this end, which is more of a warm tone bronzer, and this is more of a neutral bronzer. So this is Raisin, that warm tone bronzer. Let me just build it up for you guys. And this is Versatile Matte, which is more of that neutral bronzer. I love using this on my face and this mostly on the eyes because that is more of a deeper tone. Or if I'm like really tan and I want to go for that bronze sun-kissed look, that is when I use that red bronzer. Now let's move on to the highlighters. Now I don't know how to classify that. First, I'll swatch this highlighter and then I'll swatch it individually and then all mixed together. So this one is Sahara Dawn. This is such a beautiful body highlighter, I would say, if you are like a medium skin tone person or even if you are deeper than me. And this is amazing in the inner corners. This is what I have on my inner corners. This is super versatile. You can use it anywhere you want. And from all of the lights, so the first one is more of a rose gold shade. Next, we have a gold shade. That is Rodeo Drive. This one is more of a pinky highlighter. And this is more of that ivory champagne highlighter. So basically, we do have like 5 options for highlighters in this palette. I don't want to ruin the pattern in the palette, but this is how it seems like when it's all mixed up together. Like a beautiful champagne gold shade. These shades are so reflective. I mean, you would definitely not be disappointed with any of the Ofra highlighters if you own any of them in your collection. I do have a Rodeo Drive in my collection separately apart from this palette. Now let's move on to the eyeshadows. So I'm first gonna swatch these 3 shades, then these 3 shades, and then finally these 2. So these are the swatches. These are the swatches from the palette. Let's start. This is champagne. Then we have gold. Then we have trance. It's such a beautiful burgundy shade. I absolutely love this. This is a stunning duochrome, I would say. It has such a beautiful sheen. It's a mauvey sheen, I would say, and the shade name is called Sublime. This hot pink is called Pink Lady. This yellow is called Bright Yellow. This beautiful neutral brown is known as Brown, and this is Triple Black. I absolutely love the variety that she has picked for these eyeshadows. I mean, the options are endless that you can create out of this palette. I absolutely loved this palette. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this makeup tutorial that I created by using Ofra's W Khan collaboration palette. I really like this palette, and this palette gives so much versatility in the makeup that we do in everyday life. I really wanted to create like out of the box look for you guys. I absolutely loved the way it came out. I'll definitely do more of like a everyday brown kind of a look also using this palette in the near future. But yes, for today, that is it. And if you guys are new to my channel, please take the time to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so that you're notified every time that I post next. I generally upload every Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until next time, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!